So this is me trying to interact with a couple babies that I got in that haven't been socialized too much. This animal's still nervous. Now, we're not having any throating going on right now, but still a nervous coming guy baby. I have 3 of these in here, and currently this little one right here is the most social of the 3. See, we're not getting any tail whip from me touching. The other one is a little nervous, but the other ones would definitely be tail whipping. So see, now we're getting some throating, so I'm going to come up here and offer my hand. I want the baby to see that there's nothing to fear. So even though I'm right here, I'm touching its foot. Baby's not acting suspicious. We're getting long tongue flicks. Yes. We're just acting a little nervous, and that's okay. Part of our positive interactions is understanding what I'm looking at, what they're telling me with their body language, what they're telling me with their tongue flicks and their facial expressions. So we've got a little wag of the tail, and there's a little throating of the throat, a little puffing of the throat. So that's telling me the baby's nervous.
Quite honestly, it's because my wife was shooting from the opposite side of the enclosure and spooking the baby.
But, so see, now we're losing the throatiness. We're no longer waving the tail, and we're still getting long tongue flicks. I'm wondering if I could go underneath this baby. I would not recommend this to most people who don't understand their lizards, but this baby, I feel, okay. And see, we're not really running. We're interested in the situation. See, we're still getting long tongue flicks. The baby's interested in what's going on.
So the reason she or he throated up was because he felt cornered because I was on one side and you were on another?
Absolutely correct. So these lizards, monitors specifically, enjoy one viewpoint. So when they're focused on one thing and there's something that's catching their attention somewhere else, especially as a baby, will make them nervous. Notice how when you got a little closer, he's backed up and was throaty. When he came down, he's near me.
Yeah.
So again, I'm gonna approach my baby, and I'm gonna set my hand here. If I get bit, y'all, I get bitten, 100%. I'm not in this because I think it's never gonna happen. I am going to get bitten, maybe not by this animal, but in general, trying to perfect my techniques and such. I have been bitten quite a bit over the years. Some of them pretty nasty. My wife has been bitten over the years and has had a couple nasty bites. But that doesn't stop us from interacting with these guys. So just know that if you get bit, you have to stay calm. I've been on both ends of the spectrum, actually. I've been where I've gotten bit and I've been like, ah! And freaked out, and then I've gotten bit and nothing happened. Excuse me, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to scream and make you a little more nervous. What's that, baby? You seem to have a question.
Now, how do you know if a monitor lizard is going to bite you?
So a lot of times you will see it in their head movement. They will actually dip their head down, okay? And this is my own personal experience over a decade of doing this now with these guys. I've noticed that when you get short tongue flicks and fast head movement, the animal is searching out what they think might be food. If they dip their head towards you, guaranteed they're going to try and take a bite. So it is better to move away at that point than to allow yourself to get bitten. Show the animal you're not food, then re-engage the animal on a positive note. Again, I've been on the and the oh man, this sucks spectrum, and it's hard to get to that, man, this sucks, let go of me spectrum. I'm expecting to get bit, it happened, whatever. Some people can do it. I'm one that can do it. My wife, on the other hand, she's not one that can take a bite and be calm. When she gets bit, she freaks out, and that's okay. It is okay. I say don't freak out, but if you do, there's always a way to come back. It's always in how you're interacting with the animal, how that last second of interaction goes. Whenever I get bit, the animal doesn't go back into the enclosure immediately. I free handle the animal some more. Then it goes back in under my stipulations on a positive note. If the animal bites me and I put it up, I've lost. This animal knows that it can bite me, scare me, and win. And so from then on out, because these are very smart animals. From then on out, I'm going to be worried about getting bitten nonstop. As a baby, I like to work with these guys a lot because if I'm going to get bitten, I'd rather be bitten as a baby and then gain their trust rather than getting bitten by an adult. I do have a female in here that makes me very nervous at times. To be honest with you, I got her out this morning. I posted a picture up on TikTok and on Instagram. My beard's all messed up, got bed beard and no hat on, bald head as usual. And I walked in there and I pulled Athena out. That's my female, 20-month-old female Kumangai monitor in the next room. She, in about 5 minutes into our interaction, and I just recently got her, okay? I got her at 16 months old, so I've only had her for 2 months. She's never really been interacted with, but of course, if you know us, you know we love our animals and we want to interact with them. She made me nervous this morning because I got her out, and once she got up to around my ears, she was fast tongue flicking, and I could feel her headbutting my face. On top of that, my son tried to engage her as well, and she opened her mouth against his cheek. Not hard and didn't bite, but opened her mouth to taste. That makes me really nervous, but it's not something that's going to deter us from working with her. It's things like that that you need to notice in an interaction that will save you from getting bit, and it will save you from having a negative interaction in the end. Because again, in the end, it is all about having a positive interaction with these guys. Even though this baby didn't completely let me pick it up, that is the first time I have ever gotten this far with this specific baby, okay? My wife had to remind me this morning because we do have 3 in here. 2 of them are hidden right now, and they all look quite similar. The difference of mine being is my dude has a mustache across his eyebrow, right below his eyes. The other 2 have dots. And so that's how I'm able to determine what's mine and what's available for sale. Because this specific guy right here, I'm keeping for myself. Now I say guy, this could be a female. But from my own experience, again, in working with these guys for quite some time, and looking at the structure of the body and the structure of the head, I'm going to assume this guy a male. Now, I have been wrong. Don't ever let anybody tell you that at this age they can sex an animal and they're 100% right, unless you're Kevin McCurley from Nerd. At that point, dude, I bow down to your guru-ness. I've taken a lot of my basic techniques from you and have presented them in a manner and changed them in a manner to make my own techniques. But dude, as cocky as you are, you know exactly what you're saying, and man, I have a lot of respect for you, and I watch a lot of your older videos in water monitor socialization, and it's worked across the platform when it comes to monitor lizards and how I approach them. I think every species is a little different with their own different personality, but because of your videos, I've been able to develop my own techniques over the last decade and have really come a long way. That being said, this is Red Dirt Reptile, so I'm not going to talk about another company anymore. I just want to give a shout out to the dude who made this all possible for me and made it to where, he gave me a good platform to start from. Yes, baby doll.
What is the difference between a baby bite and an adult monitor lizard? Now, okay. I know there's different monitor lizards. So, okay, Asian water monitor or Kumangai. Because I know a crocodile monitor is a lot different bite than an Asian water monitor.
So let's take in comparison. Let's say I had a full-grown male Kumangai monitor. That would be about the size of Spirit, our full-grown female Varanus salvator macromaculatus Asian water monitor. A full-grown male Kumangai will be about 5.5 foot long. Taking a bite from one of those lizards, if I was to take a bite from Spirit or from a Kumangai that is full-grown, you could be looking at extensive damage. And when I say extensive damage, I do mean in the aspect of there's no question about it, you are going to the hospital with whatever limb was bitten, filleted wide open. You are going to end up with stitches, and you are going to end up in a ton of duress, meaning you're going to have constant throbbing in your hands. So if most of these, or in whatever limb you get bitten on, Most people don't realize this, but every species of monitor lizard carries some sort of venom dexterity in their saliva. Now, a lot of that, by scientific proof, has been shown that we deter a lot of that dexterity by what we feed them here in captivity versus what they eat in the wild. Kind of like the poison dart frogs that eat the food out in the wild that allows them to have a poisonous dexterity to their saliva. It's kind of the same with these guys. Think about it, because in the wild they're scavengers, and so they're eating rotten meat, they're eating carcasses, their saliva has a ton of bacteria, and the venom that they carry is really not meant to take down someone like me. Every monitor lizard has a dexterity amount or percentage based on its size. So like a savanna monitor, a mangrove, or melanus, something small like that, if you get bitten, the smaller they are, the more dexterity they have. What's crazy, or is the more percentage of dexterity they have. What's crazy is that the largest monitor on the planet, which happens to be the Komodo, has the largest dexterity. But then if you really want to get down to scientific proof on what affects humans the most, you can drop down to the Indicus complex, where you can go to the melanus and the Indicus and everything in between, okay, and really have a horrible time from a bite. Even if it just barely touched you and ripped you open, the saliva and venom dexterity is going to cause lots of pain, lots of swelling, lots of soreness. But that's about it when it comes to humans. There's no venom out of a monitor that is going to take down a human or paralyze it to a point where it can eat it whole, okay? That's just not the case. So back to what I was really trying to say. If you get nailed by a full-grown monitor, you're looking at massive damage. You're looking at, let's say if I was to get hit on my hand, we're looking at massive gashes, probably tearing into tendons, probably tearing through ligaments, cutting open arteries and veins. In comparison to where if I was to get bit by this guy's gonna latch onto my finger. My finger, or whatever little spot, is going to become swollen and enlarged. A lot of times babies don't thrash. They bite and let go because they're biting out of defense and not out of a food response, where most adults, if you're working with them, if they were to bite you, it's more food response related if you're working with that animal. If it's wild caught and you get bit, well, then that's a total different story, and then that's kind of on you as a dumbass for not paying attention, because wild caughts are known to be very hostile, especially as adults when you bring them in. I've been very blessed in the aspect that I have one wild caught monitor here in the house that happens to be my #1 breeder, who produces all my Parto babies just the same. And she's puppy dog tame, so don't let people tell you that a wild caught baby can't be amazing. But I will tell you that a wild caught baby takes a lot to get it through the first 2 years of its life healthy. And then once you make it past that, you're good. But a lot of times they die within those first 2 years due to hidden parasites that we don't know about. Just to put this on short perspective, monitors live with both good and bad parasites. When we catch them in the wild, we bring them into captivity, we treat them for parasites. We treat them for parasites, but the problem is that we kill not only the bad parasites, but the good parasites. And so once the bad parasites start to try and regain in their system, there's no good parasites to fight those, and they go down, which is why a lot of wild-caught animals as a whole go down really quick versus CBB babies, where that trend, that parasite infestation is gone because we have bred that out. And then in captivity, you don't have to worry about that because we're not feeding them the same things that allow them to keep those same parasites. We're not keeping them in the same environment. That being said, as I was saying, if you get nailed by this little baby right here, it's gonna hurt, but it is going to be nothing like an adult monitor. If you want to see what an adult monitor really looks like as far as a bite, go look up Tom Crutchfield on YouTube and look up the worst monitor bite ever. It'll be a bite from his blue tail monitor, and it is absolutely horrendous. His hand looks mangled, and it is what it is. It is what it is, and that's part of being in this industry, is knowing what you could or couldn't possibly deal with
throughout the time of your ownership of these. Also keep in mind that these guys can't just be stuck into a ginormous enclosure right off the bat. Spirit, my Asian water monitor, my #1 female, she lives in an 8-foot by 4-foot by 6-foot enclosure. But I would be stupid to put one of my 1.5 long to 2 foot long babies in an enclosure like that, because it would never see the light of day. It would always stay hidden. And so if you want a great relationship with these guys, to be honest with you, as bad as this sounds, you have to give them the ability to confront you from the beginning. Now, once you move them into an enclosure where they can't confront you, total different set of things. This specific enclosure right here is just that. It is an enclosure that I built for the babies, that they do not have to stand and confront me. But I will tell you that before this, they were in an enclosure where they did have to stand and confront me, which is the only reason I am able to have what little bit of relationship or interaction with these guys that I do, because they at least know who I am. Notice I'm petting the tail. There's no wagging of the tail. Actually, if you're looking at his face, he's not throating. I'm going to say he could be a she, but the monitor is not throating up. And a lot of times when you touch a monitor's tail that doesn't know you, that's exactly what they do. I'm going to try and go up this guy's body, see if we can get him back up on top. Hi, buddy. There we go. Hi. Hey. Okay, so I'm going to come back here. Hey. What if I come up like this and I give you a hand to look at? Hold on. So this, again, nervous baby. But you see, not freaking out. You see, I'm messing with the baby. It's coming back up. We're still getting long tongue flicks. So although this is a baby that's nervous, this is a baby that's willing to give some sort of interaction. This baby, out of the 3, is my most social and is not really scared. It's nervous of what could be going down, but not scared. See, look, it's turning toward me. We're getting long tongue flicks, and see, now we're coming down, following me. Hi. Let's see if I can go around this. Hi. So let's see if we can get this baby to get out on my hand. Hey, nope. So I'll come down. The hardest thing to do when working with babies is get underneath them. We're gonna go hide. So this may be the end of this video. But the hardest thing to deal with when it comes to babies is getting underneath them. Baby monitors feel like the higher they are, the safer and more comfortable they feel, which is why it's good to work with them. Excuse me, falling over. Which is why it's good to work with them on a high platform above, or in an aspect where you can reach above you. Now, you can also take these guys out and put them in bathtubs in warm water and let them swim around, and that's a good point of interaction as well. But when in an enclosure and such like that, it is always better to be underneath the monitor. So because I can't get below the monitor right now, because I'm going to have to come in over the top of them, for me, positive interaction. We didn't have a lot of throating toward the end. I didn't get bitten. And so we're gonna call this a good interaction, because I'm not going digging for this monitor. In about 30 minutes, it'll be up basking again, and I can come try again. Again, you cannot force a relationship with these guys. If you do, you're gonna end up with a very rude monitor and end up getting hurt. So if you thought this video was helpful, if you have any other questions, any other concerns, man, I've been doing this for a long time down here in Oklahoma. I'm working hard to be the Kevin McCurley, or nerd of the southern states. And I'd like to think that I have more knowledge and hands-on experience than probably anybody else here in the southern states, minus Florida, where everybody keeps everything, right? But besides that, if you have any questions, concerns, give us a shout. I'd love to be the one to interact with you and engage with you and educate you and not tell you BS. If I don't know, I'm real honest to tell you I don't know, but I know someone who can get you an answer. I happen to be real good friends with some of the top monitor breeders and exporters in the country. And having my hands in those cookie jars has made it very much possible for me to have animals like this and be able to do videos like this. So again, if you appreciate this content, please like and subscribe, leave us a comment. I'd love to hear from you down below. Let me know what you think about these animals. Let me know what you think about your animals and how I can help you. And if you can help me, I'm all about it as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is Corey at Red Dirt Reptiles, Pets, and Exotics. We'll see y'all soon.